welcome to Phoenix Refueled, feigning the flames of our awakening. I'm Lindsay Evans.
I'm Ashley Nix.
And
we're here to talk about deep shit.
Yeah. A real deep shit. See, we switched that time.
Yeah, I love it.
You're like, wait a minute, that's what I say.
Yes. No, it's all good.
What are we talking about today?
Narcissistic personality disorder and relationships.
Yeah.
First, want to say that we are not licensed clinicians, nor are we therapists, nor are we psychologists. Although my therapist wants me to be a therapist, but I'm not licensed yet.
But we are survivors.
But we are survivors. So
yeah.
If we are not professionals in that way, but we have lived that experience, and that's what we are talking about this through the lens of.
Yes.
So
we have had plenty of dealings with narcissistic patterns in relationships. And there are common patterns of behavior, signs to look out for when dating someone. If you're in a relationship or a marriage with someone and you're feeling like something's off, like there are patterns to be on the lookout for.
I would like to say, like, this is one of those things that, like, it's been a buzzword for a couple of years. Everyone's like, oh, they're a narcissist,
Yeah.
And it's like, well, first of all, it's a spectrum. We all have narcissistic traits at various points. It is like, it's a scale. We are talking about patterns of behavior.
Yes.
That are repetitive and incredibly harmful. So while everyone can have tendencies of being a little more like someone would say like selfishness, right? Or like maybe even reactivity. There are some things that mimic, survivors of abuse, especially childhood abuse. There's some things that can mimic narcissistic personality disorder that are not that. So it's important that we're careful about the verbiage.
There's a distinction.
Correct.
Because there are certain criteria in the DSM for narcissistic personality disorder. Mm-hmm. It's not just your ex who's pissing you off.
Right.
It's not this person is doing things I don't like, therefore they are a narcissist. No.
Right.
You guys just have issues. Not everybody is a narcissist who's wronging you. There are certain patterns of behavior and certain characteristics of personality.
What are those patterns, Lindsay, Miss Research Queen? I love it.
What are those characteristics?
Mm-hmm.
Well, common characteristics, I don't know every single one listed in the DSM, but they do include grandiosity.
What does that look like?
An outsized self-importance. They're special. They're smarter than other people. They're better at things than other people. Sometimes an overt arrogance. Sometimes, because there are malignant narcissists and covert narcissists, sometimes it's very obvious that they think less of everyone and they're better than everybody else. Sometimes it's not as obvious. But there is always sort of a outsized, hi baby, kitty time. There's outsized importance and self-worth. In fact, I think all of those people who would be diagnosed with NPD have deep rooted insecurity. So
yes.
So much so that they cannot see themselves as anything other than supremely blessed, gifted, important, special.
Their needs are more important than others. Their opinions are more important than others.
And they also require a lot of attention, like in a partnership of any kind, family member, parent, coworker, love relationship. They demand a lot of praise and a lot of attention to kind of keep that image. Because there is no real internal sense of self. It's all external, which goes back to some of the conversations we had about how being in your body is important. The people who have NPD actually can't do that. There's a lack of empathy, and they have to have external attention to confirm to them, yes, I am special. Because these important people respect me, because I surround myself with people with fame, money, or power, or people who are beautiful, or people who have these things that I want. And then it reaffirms to me, yes, I am special. Yeah. So those are a big indicator. That in conjunction with the unwillingness to compromise, to respect boundaries, to take accountability in any fashion. That's a big narcissistic trait. It's always blame. It's always blame and deflection. They will never be
in the wrong, or done anything wrong, or
can't,
or need to change their behavior in any way. It's always, well, you.
Yes. Oh, well, everything I was doing was right, but they did this, so it's their fault. Or maybe from like a parental lens, it's well, you were always difficult, so I just had to treat you that way. Or a romantic partner, this is why I don't tell you things, because you always make such a big deal about it. So let's see how it's like turned around. Their bad behavior becomes your fault.
Always.
Because you're pressing me about it. That's why I can't tell you. That's why I have to do these things behind your back. Never accountability.
Nope.
That is through and through. And I feel like, that's common with people who aren't narcissistic too. But a narcissist will truly, not once, never ever, take accountability.
Correct.
Yeah. Some people are bad at it. They will never do it.
Right.
What's another good narcissistic?
Let's see. Wow. I drew a blank.
There is a lack of empathy too. I kind of said that in there. I'll jump in. They do have a hard time taking anybody's. Let me rephrase. Not a hard time. They're not going to take anybody else's anything into consideration.
Correct.
It's what they need. And they do whatever they have to do to get their needs met. It doesn't matter who they throw under the bus, who they ignore, who they backstab, who they lie to. In fact, from my past experience, having been in a very unhealthy relationship with somebody who followed these patterns of behavior, it was there was no concern for anybody else's well-being. And in fact, while not, like rerouting the blame, they had reasons to do that. They had reasons to ignore everybody else's feelings, because they felt threatened, even though they were the one perpetrating crimes and making other people victims. They had reasons to do that, because otherwise they would have their feelings hurt, and we can't have that.
No. It's there's an element of like fragile ego, right? Which like
they're super insecure.
You've hit on with like the grandiosity and all of that. I want to circle back. The two major kinds of narcissists are the malignant, which is like usually maybe somewhat easier to spot, maybe not. But it's a grandiose self-importance. But then the covert narcissist it's covert, it's sneaky.
Yeah.
And that one, I feel like, for me personally, is sometimes harder to catch, because you truly believe that they are the victim and that people are wronging them.
They also call that vulnerable narcissism for that reason. I actually, in a recent relationship, a friend of mine had come in to help me in my business, and this person that was on their way out, the guy said, well, she just looked like this wounded bird, and I wanted to help her, and I was like, yeah, I know, I've been falling for that shit for a year, basically. Like, this is where I've been for a year, and you want to take care of her, and like, oh my God, how could they do this to you? You're so sweet, you're so helpful, you're so this, you're so that, until all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, like, you've been actually making my life harder in so many ways, and really fucking me over in the process. Pardon my language, but it's a little harder to catch. It is, because it takes a while. All narcissists will do that, where there's a mismatch between what they say and what they do, because they'll promise you the world, and it does take a while to see the mismatch. Like, oh, I'm always supporting you, I'm always there, every time you need me, it's an emergency. But then when I need you, somehow I'm inconveniencing you, or you're busy. You never can quite reciprocate. And it is harder to see, I think, because the malignants are so overt. They're very braggadocious. I mean, we all know somebody who's like this, like, I'm the greatest, I'm the best, I never make any mistakes, everything I do. We know this character. We know this character. The vulnerable type, it is harder to see because they will hook you in, and because most people are honest, especially when they're trying to build a relationship, most people are honest in the gate when they're trying to get to know someone. You believe someone, you take them at their word that, yeah, why would this person lie to me about their past relationships, or where they went to school, or where they work, or their family relationships, or their financial, like, why would they be lying to me about that? You just take people at their word, usually, at least in the beginning, until you have a reason to doubt them. And that happens with all the cluster B personalities, because narcissism, NPD, is in the same family as sociopathy and psychopathy. And it's because there's that lack of emotion. They will mirror you. They will tell you what they think you want to hear to try and gain connection, make connection. And with the vulnerable narcissist, like in my case, it was like, oh yeah, I have this terrible relationship with my family. That wasn't true. Oh yeah, we haven't spoken in years. And I'm going, oh my God, you poor thing. That must be so hard. You were really close with your family, and your mother treated you horribly, and now you haven't talked for years. None of that was true. That was very early on in our relationship, just to gain sympathy, get attention from being, see, poor little me. I'm just a nice guy, and I don't know why, I have this really tough relationship with all my family. And then you start hearing other things relationship wise. If you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, you see all of a sudden all the exes also, oh my God, the things they did to this poor man. Like, what a psycho his ex was.
Can we just pause for a moment? And before recording, Lindsay said this, and I had a full-on moment.
Yeah.
Where, for the first time in this moment, I remembered and then called into question a story that was told to me at the very beginning of my marriage, before the marriage. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe, like, she just up and y'all were engaged, and she bought this house in your name while you were, in Iraq and, like, fighting, and like, she just up and left.
Why would she do that?
And I was like, oh my God, what a horrible person. Like, that, how, like,
she seems awful.
You came back and you were sleeping on the floor, and you had just come back from fighting for our country, like, and then the whole thing. She took everything. The only thing that was left were your golf clubs. You didn't even have, like, you had a futon to sleep on. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe. And then it's like, oh, well, maybe that wasn't exactly how that went.
Maybe not.
It might not have been.
Might not have
But
been.
literally less than 30 minutes ago was the first time I've questioned that.
They will make you question your sanity. If you've ever been in a narcissistic relationship, you know that there are certain things that they do. You will feel like you're crazy.
The number of times I Googled if I'm not, I thought I was a narcissist. I thought I was a narcissist. I thought maybe I was borderline, or maybe I was bipolar. Yeah. I was like, something's clearly, I'm insane. Yeah. I actually argued with a psychiatrist at one point. I was like, no, I'm bipolar. I know I am. And he was like, Ashley, I'm a psychiatrist, like, licensed for 15
You're
years.
Not bipolar.
And he was like, baby, you are not. He was like, depressed, yes. Anxious, yes. PTSD, absolutely. Bipolar, no ma'am.
Yep.
No ma'am. And then I met someone who was bipolar, and I was like, maybe I'm not bipolar.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah.
Oh, right. Which, like, to everyone that's struggling with that, I'm so sorry, and, like, I hope that you're doing well. It's hard, but being with a narcissist will absolutely have you convinced that you are utterly insane.
And it will also cause mental health issues.
1,000%.
Because having your reality bent in the way that the gaslighting and the lying and the manipulation over and over and over again, the building you up only to devalue you, and over time devalue you more and more and more and more, will really turn you upside down and have you having a lot of mental health issues. You will be depressed, you will be anxious, you will have PTSD symptoms. That's something to look for. If you're in a relationship and you find yourself going, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't even know what I like and care about anymore. Like, I just feel depressed and anxious all the time. I feel like a shell. That's a really big indicator.
The red flag. Red flag.
You're not in a good relationship if you are constantly feeling like you're scrambling and it's never enough.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You were saying at one point impossible standards.
Yeah, well, they'll do those kind of games where, like, I know in my marriage it was either never enough or too much. There was never doing anything right. Whether it was the romantic relationship or the finances or the child rearing or how I was as a partner or the house being taken care of, anything. It was either you're not doing it well enough or you're just too much. You know what I mean? You're doing it too much. That's all you think about. That's all you care about. You never have any time for me. And then a week later, it's like, why don't you take care of these things? But there was never any, you're doing it right. You're doing a great job. That didn't happen. It was whatever was convenient for that story. So it doesn't, let's go back to the beginning. It doesn't start off that way like any abusive relationship. So if you're dating someone, there are things to look for because it doesn't start that way. Usually, those kind of relationships, and any abusive relationship really, usually starts with love bombing. People know about this more now. This term is kind of out there. But a lot of attention, and narcissists in particular, because they're good at observing and mirroring your behavior, they'll tell you what you want to hear. If you're an insecure person, it's like you said, it's the oasis in the desert. It's you're perfect, you're so beautiful, how could anyone not want you? You're everything I've ever looked for. Right away, it's you're amazing, you're perfect. Tons and tons and tons of praise. So if you're coming to it as an insecure person, which a lot of us do because we come from authoritarian family systems or from situations where we're learned to not trust ourselves or we feel abandoned for any particular way, it feels really intoxicating to have somebody seem like they see you.
It's like you're finally seen, you're finally loved, you're finally right. It's like you're drinking sand though.
Yes.
But it feels like you're drinking water.
Well, because it's false. They're just telling you what you want to hear. A healthy relationship moves slower and trust is built over time. Abusive relationships will often start with trauma bonding and this love bombing, and it gets very intense very quickly, and then it has like an addictive quality to it. And then you get into this idealization, devaluing loop. But it's very, very intense, very quickly, usually. And it can feel like, yes, finally, somebody appreciates me, somebody sees me, this person really loves me. Look at how obsessed they are with me. Like we got so close, so fast. Danger. Danger. Yeah.
Run.
And real people will also call you on stuff. In the beginning of a relationship, a normal person is not only taking time, getting to know you, they're not going to give you everything because they're still getting to know you, and they'll also call you on stuff like, that's a little bit weird. I don't think a healthy, well-adjusted person is just going to say, you're amazing, you're perfect, you're perfect. I'm I'm not telling you you're perfect within 2 weeks of knowing you. I don't know you. I guarantee not perfect. I'm not.
No one's perfect.
I'm not.
No one's perfect.
I guarantee you aren't either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that happens. And with the pattern of narcissistic relationships, you get the love bombing, and then you get the lying and gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes you don't notice it at first. It's just a little bit of, that's not really how that happened. Or you know, there might be little untruths sprinkled in there. There might be a little bit of boundary testing put in there, overriding your boundaries just a little, just enough that there's plausible deniability. Well, that's not what I was doing. You know, they test, they stretch it slowly. If that works, then you find yourself being pliable enough to bend, and they go, oh, that's really good. Okay, so then we push a little farther. Then we start the isolation process. Pulling you away from friends, pulling you away from family, pulling you away from anybody that could have outside perspective to clue you into what they're doing. And that can look different. In my relationship, one of the ways that the friendships were destroyed was, and this is also very common with narcissists, anytime I would make plans with friends that I hadn't seen in a while, something was going to happen, there would be an emergency. They would need me, there'd be some crisis, there'd be tears. Oh, I don't like that person, I don't trust that person, I don't want you hanging out with this person. Or, you know I'm supposed to meet up with my friends at 6 o'clock on a Thursday, and sure enough, 5:30 on a Thursday, my beloved, wonderful, sweet partner is having an existential crisis, and they need me. Like, everything's falling apart in their lives. There's this big fire that I have to put out for them. I'm so sorry, friend, I have to cancel. And you don't notice that over time it's happening again and again. And then the friends are like, okay, well, I guess, those peripheral friendships start falling off. Maybe not for the really close ones, but for the really close ones, narcissists will engage in triangulation. Or even people like neighbors. I had this person telling wild lies about me to friends.
Oh, I mean,
to neighbors, to people I worked for, to family.
Crazy.
And if you're not close with your relationships, sometimes people don't know. I lost plenty of friendships and relationships that way because they just said, I don't know what's going on, but this is messy. I don't want any part of this. So those people just kind of fell off. I mean, luckily, I have a good relationship with my parents, and my mother spotted this person lying about me to her very early in the beginning, and she had dealt with these personality types before, and she's going, why would they lie about that? Why would he lie about that? That's really strange. In the beginning of the relationship, he's telling me something about my daughter that I know is not true. So her radar was pinging from the very get-go. But say you don't have a great relationship with your parents. Say you don't have a lot of really close friendships, because narcissists also go after people that they find easy to manipulate. I mean, they want somebody who they see as high status. They want somebody who they think is smart or funny or beautiful or well-connected or successful. And then that's another thing. Like, they're not attacking weak people.
Right.
They're not attacking. If a narcissist has glommed onto you, it's because they see your bright, beautiful shininess and they want it. They go after people who they think are respected or successful or beautiful. There's something about you that they want. Yeah, it's really insidious how it sneaks up. It's insidious how it sneaks up. Yeah. So, if you find yourself
in one of those. Yeah.
Being gaslit, being love bombed, being gaslit, being slowly isolated, and then later on in the relationship, devalued. All of a sudden, there used to be so much attention, and then there's less and less and less, and you can never do enough. You can never be enough. You find yourself tired all the time. You find yourself making excuses for their bad behavior to your friends and family because they're not showing up. Or maybe it's in a workplace relationship and you find them taking credit for the things that you've done over and over again, just draining you of your energy in general. Telling wild stories to you about this person over here. And unbeknownst to you, they're going over to this person over here and they're telling wild stories about you to them. That's a narcissist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's a real mindfuck. It's a real, you will eventually, if you're in it long enough. I was in that relationship for a long time. And if you are in it long enough, you will convince yourself that you're crazy. Because you will feel like you're going crazy with the gaslighting and the emotional manipulation and the lying. You will truly feel insane.
So a big part for me is I'm a passionate individual, a creative, if you will. But and I have big emotions. I was a big emotion kid. I'm a big emotion adult, and I work really hard at like not throwing those onto other people, but like really just being in my body in that, right? And just like it's okay that I have the big emotions that I do. But when you're that sensitive and that I would say charged maybe as an individual, is that maybe the right word? I don't know. Just sometimes I have a hard time describing myself, but you and I've talked about my intensity and like you love it, and I'm like, and people either love it or hate it, you know.
You're just a very emotional person, and you're a very sensitive person, and I mean sensitive in the word that you're aware.
Right.
You're paying attention to what's happening in your body, how you feel. You're very in tune with that.
And the room. And like how everyone is feeling. Like I said to my therapist last week is like I can feel I can feel the shifts in the room, feel the shifts with you before you're fully aware of what's shifting, and I'm asking you, hey, are you good?
Yeah.
Is everything okay? Like I can see it. Trauma response, whatever, empath gets thrown around a lot too. Like it's also just like a result of trauma. That's how I survived.
Yeah.
Childhood.
Paying attention. Anticipating needs.
Correct. That's just how I survived childhood. So it's my spidey sense, if you will. But so I pick up on things before they happen. I'm like, this is where we're headed. I already know. And 10 steps later, it's occurring. But so then when you have a narcissist who then like stonewalls and completely like shuts off, and then you've got someone who's like, well, like, no, but I need you to respond to me. And it becomes this dynamic where the person that's actually sane looks insane.
Yeah.
In the relationship.
And it's like, it's got that push-pull dynamic.
Correct. Yeah. And it's, they like back you into corners. And then it's like, well, like, look at you. Like, you're reactive. Like, you're insane. And it's like, well, like, no, you literally pushed me to here to where that I'm like so upset that I'm like loud, and then it's like, oh, you're crazy.
Lying, by denying, by deflecting, by turning the situation around on me over and over and over again until you snap, and then using that against you. Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
You're unstable.
Right. Look at you. Oh my God. Look how crazy you are. Do you see what I have to deal with?
And by the way, all of the emotional awareness that you have, perfect for narcissists. They love people like that because they want adoration, they want attention, and they want somebody who's going to see what they need and do it without asking. They need somebody who's highly empathetic because they don't have the empathy, and then when they naturally blame you for the problems that there are because they can't take the responsibility, they need somebody who's going to go, maybe I should self-reflect. Maybe I am causing some harm. Maybe it is me. This is the other reason why you end up feeling crazy, because if you are an empathetic person, you're going, well, my partner's saying I'm hurting them. Like, you know, maybe I am being too jealous, or maybe I'm not trusting them enough, or maybe this is
maybe
me.
I am demanding too much. Maybe I am nagging. Maybe I am.
Mm-hmm. And they're going, it is you. Mm-hmm. Of course. Because it can't be me.
Right. So that just further chips away at your self-esteem, right?
It chips away at your self-esteem because it totally disables your ability to trust your perceptions and your feelings. And this goes back to the talk of why it's so important to be in your body, paying attention to your feelings, and knowing where you're at, because in a close relationship with somebody like that, you're going to be lied to, you're going to be manipulated, you're going to be intentionally confused and misled.
Yep.
And it's really easy, if you don't know that's happening, to get turned around and get confused. But one thing you do always have is the ability to check in with yourself and go, I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling safe. Like, reality feels weird and wobbly. Like, I feel insecure. I don't feel good when I'm in this relationship with this person, whatever kind of relationship it may be, whether romantic, family, workplace, friend, whatever. I don't feel good with this person. I don't feel safe with that person. That is something you can trust.
Yep.
Regardless if they're saying, oh, no, I told you. You're misremembering that. That's not what I said. Or you're being illogical. That's not how it went. That can be manipulated.
Right.
Memory is fallible. But you know how you feel around that person. And if you feel consistently tired, frustrated, confused, unhappy, like I always said, like I walked backward through Oz, and I went from being a colorful person to feeling like I was living life in black and white.
Oh,
that's real. You can trust that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Because they will try to control the situation with any way that they can.
Right.
And especially when they get to the devaluing phase. Not everybody who's in a romantic relationship with a narcissist gets to the devaluing stage. Some people notice it for what it is and they leave before that happens. But if you're in a long-term relationship with somebody, in a narcissistic relationship like I was, you do get to the devaluation stage where they've pretty much tapped the well of your energy dry, and they're no longer getting the hit of self-esteem they need from you. And when that happens, you know it. Because they start becoming outright hostile to you, outright abusive to you, outright ugly to you, ignoring you. They just make it known that they don't care about you. You're annoying at best. They have no respect for you or for your needs or for your wants. Usually in romantic relationships, at that point, they've been actively cheating on you and looking for somebody to replace you. They've been bad-mouthing you. They start a smear campaign. And they start going to the people around you saying, look, this girl's crazy. Like, I can't live with her. She's doing all these things. You know, they'll lie. She's out of control. She's so jealous. She's so insecure. Sometimes just completely fabricating stuff. Oh, she took all my money. She took my kids. She put me in jail. Whatever they can make up, you know, to make you seem like a truly horrific person. So whatever they're doing to you seems
justified.
Just.
Yeah, looks justified, right?
Yes.
Like, of course you would do that. That person's insane.
Yeah, of course you're seeing another woman. Like, no wonder I would too. Your ex sounds crazy. Like, yeah, get out of that abusive relationship. Which is where we got to that talk. Like, oh, was she crazy? Did she treat him really awful? Did she leave and do all these horrible things?
Friend, I don't think so.
maybe she just saw maybe she had been there, done that, and she saw some writing on the wall. She saw some red flags, and she said,
I'm out.
Adios, I gotta go.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here in this moment of bunch of things kind of hitting me at once.
Yeah. I know, it's hard to talk about.
It's like the love bombing didn't even really happen. I was so desperate.
Yeah.
For anything.
Yeah. You okay?
And yeah, I'm fine. I just we went to devaluing pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like pretty damn quick. It was like the moment that I wasn't like happy to split bills 50-50 and do all of the trad wife things, right? Then it's like utter hate and hateful. You know, it was like I needed to be the servant in all of the ways and split the bills.
Yeah.
And so like that hostility, and I think that's why I left quicker, because I was like, this is just like not sustainable.
Yeah.
Like at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like I was the breadwinner. And still treating me like that. And I was like, I'm literally asking you to like carry the weight of the house 50-50 with me.
Yeah. You can't have me be,
I can't do everything.
Your cook, your slave, your whatever, and also take care of all the finances.
Right.
I can't be your everything.
It's not a partnership.
It's not.
Right. So there was just like
but there's no give and take. It's not a partnership when you
are with
somebody like that. It's not. You are a tool to reinforce their self-esteem.
Correct.
And everything that you do has to reinforce their self-esteem. And if it doesn't, they will start devaluing you and looking for it elsewhere.
Right.
Yeah. And it's funny. I can't remember the name. I read a couple books about that after I separated from that relationship, specifically about narcissism and how to deal with it, because I started seeing certain patterns reading it, and I was like, oh, wait, love bombing, check, gaslighting, check, isolation, check, financial control, check. I was like, interesting. Yeah, it seems like this pattern of behavior is very consistent, and it was our entire relationship.
Damn.
I think because they are so insecure, like their egos are so fragile, that they completely buy in to the lies that they're saying.
That part.
I think they really do believe it. I don't think they're capable of any kind of real empathy or self-reflection, because it's too dangerous to their egos. And I saw with this relationship, I thought had a lot in common with me. And what it was them mirroring me when we first got together. We liked similar music, we liked similar hobbies, we lived certain lifestyles that were similar, like, oh, we eat the same kind of foods, we do the same thing, like, oh, we're so compatible, we do so many things the same. When my narcissist found a suitable replacement for me, because a lot of times they'll just cheat. A lot of narcissists also do other things to feel good. So drugs, alcohol, sex work, porn, food, spending money compulsively, buying clothes to be flashy, whatever. They're doing other things. A lot of them will just cheat, but they're looking for either multiple sources to fill that void of self-esteem or another person to jump ship to when they start devaluing. And when my narcissist found the next person that they were glomming onto, it was like, I think looking at hindsight, it was like, oh, this is the person that's gonna fulfill me in every way forever. Like, there was that thought with me, I'm gonna model myself after this person, and that's gonna, I'm going to be fulfilled. I'm going to be the special, important person that I know that I am. I don't think this is a conscious thought. But when he went to his other person, I think he believed that, and he started adopting all of her. Her hobbies, her ways of eating, her ways of talking, her ways of dressing. He completely modeled himself after this other person, so that I found myself in a relationship where I'm like, who is this person? You don't act or talk or sound like or do any of the things like the person I was in a relationship with. Damn. And you'll find through their relationship history, the ex that they were saying was crazy, well, they liked that music because of that ex. They were wearing those clothes because of that ex. They had those jokes because of that ex. It's like their whole personality is modeled after the person, and then they burn it down, and then they become one with the next. The next host of Narcissistic Supply.
Interesting.
There's no real core personality. That's why they're so insecure. They like, truly, they're trying to sustain something that's not even there. And then, like, from that perspective, I feel really bad for somebody who's in that. That's got to be a hard existence. That's got to be so hard. But I don't know how conscious they are of that.
I don't think that they are conscious. That's the thing, is I think that they believe. I think they truly believe. I think they truly believe. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, my latest, which is not my ex-husband, but was a covert narcissist, caught it faster, thank God. But she truly believed the lies.
No, they do.
I mean, I'm all like, cool, so you're retelling the front part of what was said, but you're omitting the whole back half of that conversation. Yeah. And your agreement to, like, you're cool to say this, but like, where's this part, which was the contingency part, right? But like, so convinced, in the stories and like whatever. I'm like, you're like not based in any sort of reality right now, and then, honestly, I'm afraid of you. Yeah. Because like I know that you're on a smear campaign now, and I'm like, that's not what happened. Yeah. Like, at all. Yeah. But it's like, what do you...
They have to do that to justify their bad behavior, because they see themselves as so important, and they can't take any blame. They also can't be a fault, so they can't cop to any wrongdoing. So they have to lie to other people to justify their actions. They know they're treating you horribly. By the time they're devaluing you, they delight in humiliating you. They delight in making you feel foolish and small. They'll lie to you just to get a little dopamine. They get some of that hit just from watching you spin out. That it makes them feel important to have something over you in that way. And they have to do that because... Oh, Oliver! Oh my gosh! What happened?
What? Are you good?
He had enough of our hot air.
Apparently, he full face planted into the side of the couch. Did you see that? You good?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet baby.
Me running through the wall away from my narcissist.
Listen. Wow. So they're getting dopamine hit from like making you feel humiliated.
Yeah. They get all the narcissistic supply in the beginning from your love and admiration, your willingness to betray all your boundaries, your willingness to do all these things for them. And when they don't need you anymore, they still get supply from you by watching you look stupid. Right. By making you feel bad, feel little, feel less than, be humiliated by the little mischief that they make with other people when they tell lies about you, and the people go, "Oh my God, she sounds terrible," right? Like, and they're like, "Yes, yeah, I know she is. She is. She's really."
I can't believe that happened to me. I'm so glad I survived.
I know. Can you believe?
Where am I? Yeah. Anyway, Like, I'm over here, I'm like, I could have done more, I could have been better, I could have, like, done something different, I could have...
That's what a normal person thinks. Right. Yeah. What's my part in this?
Well, my part is recognize when you are dealing with a narcissistic person and walk away.
Walk away.
Walk away.
And stop trying to rationalize with them. Stop trying to get them to understand where you're coming from. Stop trying to convince. They're not going to. Let it go. Mm-hmm. When you realize that you're dealing with somebody like that, if they're following all these patterns and they're doing all these things, there comes a point where you just have to stop trying with them because they're not going to.
No.
You have to have some accountability in order to do that, and they're never going to.
Yeah.
Let it go.
It's like, save yourself.
Save your energy.
Yeah, and just like, and honestly, save yourself. Like, get like that's your energy, yes, but also save. You're going to make yourself go absolutely crazy trying to convince someone who is mental. It's not curable.
It's a personality disorder.
Yeah, it's not. There's nothing you can do to cure it.
I think you could, because there is some help for personality disorders, but I guess there's discussion on it whether or not it's actually treatable, because people who truly have NPD are incapable of seeing any flaws in themselves, so they don't seek therapy.
Well, that's usually the thing. Usually the people with NPD don't do, like, they're not in therapy. The ones that are in therapy are the people that are dealing with the yes. Yeah. So it's the ones no. I was like, they don't because in therapy, in order to actually make any sort of progress, there is a level, like, you have to be accountable. You have to be honest with yourself and honest with your therapist and accountable and, like, taking action steps to truly make change in your life. And that requires, like, some real serious honesty.
Self-insight.
Yep. Self-reflection.
Mm-hmm. Accountability.
Yep.
They don't do those things.
No, and empathy for others. So, like, oh, this behavior of mine that has been a coping mechanism is actually hurting other people. Maybe I should stop doing that because I'm hurting other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Narcissists don't.
They don't.
No.
They don't.
I mean, that's the big joke, is usually it's everybody that's dealing with a narcissist is the one that ends up in therapy and not the narcissist.
Yeah, because you convince yourself, like, oh, maybe I must be the narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
Am I abusive? Mm-hmm. Am I crazy? Am I causing all these problems? I mean, thankfully, when I had this relationship, I did have other relationships beforehand that I could compare to.
Mm-hmm.
And through reading some of these books that I read, I was like, oh, actually, yeah, I did have normal relationships before that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just that I was a horrible person in every relationship. It wasn't that I was just insecure. Well, actually, I was not really insecure in most of my relationships. Wait a minute.
I will say one of the things that I've taught my daughter that, like, it's taken me therapy and time to figure out, especially if you are ADHD or anywhere on the, like, neurodivergent, neurospicy spectrum, relationships, like, it should feel calm.
Yeah.
If it feels super exciting, you know, all of, like, you're like, oh, this is just, like, feels like fireworks. That is your body telling you to run. That is your body telling you to run. Where I'm all like, oh, it's fireworks. This is amazing. No, run, girl, run. And so what I've told my child is, like, no, relationships that are healthy, you should almost feel like you could take a nap.
Yeah.
Like, it is, like, it's going to feel like watching paint dry on a wall. It is calm, and it is
stable,
serene,
safe.
And safe. You feel like you could take a nap with that person.
Doesn't have the highs and lows, the addictive pull, right, that trauma cycle.
Right, that adrenaline of, like, oh my God, it's amazing. Oh my God, we're having a crash out. Oh my God, it's amazing. Oh my God, we're having a crash out. That's no, run.
Yeah. Or the end of those relationships where it's just never good and it's always negative, but then instead of having the high, you at least get a moment of peace. of no fighting, of just like okay enoughness, which
also red flag.
Yes,
yeah,
that's another sign.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it gets whittled away to the point where everything is a problem, and just for the moment of like, I just don't want to be fighting for this moment,
mm-hmm.
is like a relief.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to be crying for this moment. That's
mm-hmm.
a relief.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
For the younger girls that are in relationships though, that don't have the whole they don't have like, because I too had relationships before that were like, you know,
mm-hmm.
maybe we weren't aligned in the same, like we wanted to live in the same area, or we wanted different things out of career and family, and like it just didn't work out, and then like we wouldn't make good life partners. But like I have a couple of exes that I still every once in a while check in with. It's like, hey, like I enjoy like you're doing good, like I love you, like forever, like I'm like I love you as in like you were significant at this time in my life. We're not talking on a daily basis, but I'm like, I'm happy you're happy. I'm happy you found what you were looking for. Yep. Like, and I have positive things to say about them.
Yep.
And they me.
Yep.
But not that one.
Not that one.
Not that one.
No, yeah, most of my exes I can say positive things about, but that relationship it sucked the life out of me. Mm-hmm. It's just absolutely sucked the life out of me.
Yeah.
In every way. By the time it was done, I had absolutely no energy, nothing left to give. Didn't care that I was being abused, didn't care that there was cheating, didn't care that there was drug and alcohol. I just didn't care. I didn't care. Like, by the end, I was like, yeah, I guess that's what I deserve. Because, that's the tricky thing about, like, abusive relationship. After a certain point, you really learn to distrust yourself because you allow yourself to stay in that. Like, your number one betrayer is you. Mm-hmm. You allow yourself to stay in it, so you start to think, I guess
this is what I deserve.
This is what I deserve. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm allowing. Mm-hmm.
So, any advice for if someone's trying to get out of that, what they should be doing?
I think if you are thinking that you're in that type of relationship, be it with whoever, romantic relationship or otherwise, I would start paying attention to everything. Start writing down, start journaling, start documenting, save paperwork, save receipts, literally and metaphorically, and keep all the receipts. Because they're going to try and convince you that you're wrong. Mm-hmm. So collect any data you have. Like they say in a lot of abusive relationships, I think on average it takes women like 7 times or maybe more to actually leave.
7 to leave.
I started writing notes to myself years before I left. Like 4 or 5 years, listing all of the reasons why I was upset, and this is horrible and this is bad, and they said this, but then they did this, and they lied to me about this, and tracking things and writing notes in my notes app on my phone or wherever I could keep them safe. Mm-hmm. Leave clues for yourself. Leave clues for yourself if you don't feel like, if you aren't convinced that there's a problem and you don't know if you should leave, keep a record. Keep a record that you can look back on and go, oh yeah, this is a pattern of behavior. This is a pattern of gaslighting. This is a pattern of lying and control and manipulation. So you have that to reference. And to show other people too, because they will use the other people in your life against you if they can. So do that. If you have been, if it's a family member, if it's a coworker, or if it's somebody you've been in a romantic relationship with long enough to kind of isolate you from the other people, like isolate you from other family members or other people at work, or just isolate you from everybody if it's a romantic partnership, start finding a support system. Find somebody if you can, and it's really difficult when you're in that, like, believe me, I understand. I had almost no friends at the end of it. Thank God I kept the relationships with my family. But start building some sort of support network. Find friends through church or work or where you live, however you can. Start building relationships with other people, because you're going to need people to see who you say you are. Do you know what I mean? Because you're going to have this person here saying bad things about you. You're going to need other people to know who you really are. And to see, like, I'm not actually crazy. I am a good person. You need some support. Start making a network of support. Yeah, so receipts, network of support, and take time to plan an exit strategy, especially if you're in a romantic relationship like I was, where you don't have financial control, you don't know all the bills, you don't have access to the accounts. Start putting away money, start making copies of or hiding important paperwork. Do these things over time. Start moving things that aren't going to be noticeable right away, like if you have kids, stuff for the kids, whatever documentation you need. If you're keeping the receipts and there's a fear that the partner will find them and destroy evidence, put it someplace else, get it backed up. Make an exit plan. Have a strategy on hand.
If you can seek a professional's help, get professional help as well. They would be able to, they're going to be able to help you game plan and see things that you can't see, don't see. Also, when you're in that place, if it's gotten that far and you're there, you're usually not seeing things clearly.
You're not.
And you're not dealing with your full cognitive ability. It literally, being in a relationship with a narcissist does brain damage.
It does.
It is reversible, but it actually damages your brain.
Yes.
Like your ability to think logically. Your hippocampus is in overdrive and you are functioning truly out of fight, flight, fawn, freeze. I would say the journaling is so
Keep
important,
track.
just because you can look back and see patterns of
and reaffirm to yourself, like, oh yeah, I'm not making this up, this has been a problem. And you feel in those relationships, you do feel trapped. It can get to the point where you feel like, especially if you're married, if you have kids, if you have a house together, or if you're invested, really entangled and meshed with this person in some ways, it really can feel like I can't get away from this. You can. Just document. Find people who can help support you that are out of the grasp of this person. Get some support and make a plan to leave.
If you get out when you get out, if you then have to have a relationship with this person,
say you have kids or whatever, business, whatever.
You had mentioned gray rocking is one of the best techniques. So it's truly just...
It's becoming completely emotionally neutral. Because the narcissists in our lives are really good at manipulating us, provoking us to get us to lash out, or to get emotional, or to need something from them. They know what your triggers are, and they're really good at pushing those buttons. So the best plan of action is, when you have to deal with somebody like that, is just to remain completely impassive, emotionally neutral, and they call that gray rocking. Because narcissists will antagonize you because they get some sort of narcissistic supply from any reaction. Any outsized reaction from you makes them feel important. Even if it's you crying, you angry and lashing out at them, anything. It's giving them some sort of affirmation that they're important because they're getting this reaction from you. So you really have to shut it all down, set the boundary, state what you need. I'm going to drop off our child here at this time, period. You're not angry, you're not pleading, there's nothing. When they try to argue with you, I'm dropping off the child here at this time.
Mm-hmm.
I have sent, we have everything written in contract after the attorneys have gone through everything, or with the business, like, I need such and such from you by this date. Mm-hmm. And this goes back to the support team. Mm-hmm. Have people on your team, legal team if you can afford to have a legal team, friends that will back you up, anybody who will back you up. This is the plan, this is what we're doing. So and so will be with me, or this is the time and date. Have it in writing, because again, document, especially after the fact. If you've distanced yourself from them and you're still having to have some sort of relationship, do everything in writing if you can, because you need records, because they will lie and they will manipulate. You have to have it in record for the courts, for family business, dealing with the kids that are in custody. You gotta keep a record of everything.
Take care of yourself in the process. It's really
it's so hard.
To stay calm through, all of it, and heal in the middle of it too. It's like,
it can be a long time healing from those relationships. They're really, really damaging.
And to that note, I also feel like once you've been in one, be on the lookout, babes. Because
look for those red flags.
Those patterns are there, and it's almost like that little neuro pathway. If you're not careful, you can really slide back in. You have to do some internal work to really spot and recognize when things are off. And if you find yourself on a loop of any sort with someone, again, that's a red flag. If we're repeating and having the same conversations over and over again, that's a red flag.
And just to those people who are out there in narcissistic relationships, from me to you, I wish somebody could have made me understand this when I was in that relationship. It's probably because you are a really caring person. It's probably because you are a beautiful, intelligent, strong person. So, boys and girls, theys and thems, if you find yourself in that relationship, it is because you are valuable. You are something of value, which is why they want to take it from you. It's not that you're weak. It's not that you're stupid. Whatever they're making you feel about yourself, it's because you are valuable.
It's
Promise.
also because we want to believe the best in people. And we don't lie. So why would someone else? Why would someone else?
Why would the person you love lie to your face?
Right.
I wouldn't do that.
I would never do that. I would tell you the brutal truth, and we would work it out, but I would not lie to your face.
They don't feel the same way.
They do
have
not
the
feel,
empathy. They don't have that.
No.
So take care of yourselves, babes. Look at your relationships. Look at the people that you're dating. Look at the people in your family systems. If you're finding yourself constantly drained, check in with your body. Do I always feel bad around this person? Do I always feel less?
Then
time to make a plan, babe.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Is that it for today?
I think so.
Okay. Take care of yourselves, friends.
All right. Bye,
Love you guys.
Love you.
Good.
Good talk.
Yeah.